Um, so I'm in charge of the ATI Cloud program, the Air Transport Industry Cloud. I thought it would be interesting for you to get a feel for what the community cloud is. So the ATI Cloud is an example of one dedicated to a single industry, air transport. So SITA, about us, we are a specialist in air transport, communications, and IT. We serve all the stakeholders who are related to air transport. So I was really pleased to have Steve before me because Shanghai and Singapore Airlines are distinguished users of our services. But we serve airlines, airports, air navigation, GDSs, global distribution system, MMUs, as Mark mentioned, governments, handles, etc. Everything that touches air transport use our services in some shape or form. We are a global network service provider, so we provide global services in 220 countries. And on top of these network services, we actually provide services to airport, distributed infrastructure, as you see, the common use, and all the desktops which are used at airports to check-in and passenger processing. But we also provide services for baggage and airport management. We provide services to governments, we provide passenger reservation services, and also we are the world leader in aircraft communications. So the air transport data code, we call it ATI amongst ourselves, has obviously got its own specific requirements. It carried 2.75 billion passengers last year, and this number is growing very fast, especially in Asia. There are 15,000 commercial aircraft flying today, and this number will double in the next 20 years, mainly in Asia and the Middle East. There's about 1 million crew flying these aircraft, and about 5 million people working at airports servicing passengers and aircraft. So this whole community, as you saw, manages a lot of disruption and seasonality. Seasonality because of tourism, and disruption because of volcanic ash, epidemics, political outbreaks. So it is an industry that has to deal with change and be able to adjust capacity to economic environment and physical environment extremely quickly. It's global in nature and very diverse. If you think of how many people have different roles to service passengers and aircraft, fueling, catering, baggage, government, security, passenger processing, pilots, crew, air traffic navigation. So it is a whole ecosystem. This ecosystem is under heavy cash pressure. The air transport industry has not paid for its capital since World War II, but it's so embedded into the economy. And it's got specific requirements. It is probably one of the most complex supply chain and logistics in the world. So all operators need to have clear standards and processes and interoperate. It needs to do that through a lot of industry-specific applications. So it's not just about email, it's really about core applications that deliver the baggage, the reservation, the passenger processing. And it's also a set of well-understood, shared security, compliance rules and regulations. And it's very airport-centric. So it's a global ecosystem, but at the same time it's a very local ecosystem, as Steve will present. All the actors on a given airport need to cooperate to deliver the service. So why a community cloud? Because basically, private clouds are what most vendors are pitching, because they would like you to buy hardware and software licenses, and obviously it provides the highest degree of control. So most enterprises love the idea that they will retain control by building private clouds. Public clouds tend to be eminently provider-centric. If you go to Amazon, you deal with Amazon rules, and they dictate how this cloud is going. So a community cloud, our shareholders felt that it was good to have a community provider investing on a cloud that would be shared and controlled for the sole interest of this industry, and that would operate on the principles of a shared mission, shared processes, shared standard, IT requirements, and infrastructure. So we've just done that. We have leveraged our global network, and on top of that network, we have built infrastructure compute layers in 6 regional data centers, and I will come back to this, which allows us to provide a pretty extensive set of virtualized services, from basic infrastructure for virtual data center, or basic platforms, email collaboration, database, utilities, etc. But on top of this, also virtualizing the desktop to prepare the post-PC era, and a lot of legacy desktops are running in this industry. And on top of this, software. We believe that the story about cloud is really going to be driven by applications, and we are focusing on creating a marketplace. What appears most important to our customers is integration in their existing environment. There seems to be a bit of a leap to make to go from where they are to the cloud, and we are making sure that this infrastructure sits really within their existing environment and interoperate with the airport, etc. So, we are in partnership with Orange Business Services, a European service provider. We are building these 6 data centers. 3 of them will be delivered in June, Atlanta, Frankfurt, and Singapore, and then we will deploy Johannesburg, Hong Kong, and Sydney. Why? Why is that? Why 6 over 5 continents? Because we want to achieve 2 things. We want to have very high connectivity, very high speed, high reliability connectivity between the data centers of our customers and this cloud, which we call the middle mile, so that customers can very easily transfer data and payloads at very high speeds between their data center and ours. And then we want to be 100 milliseconds away from every single end user of the industry, so that we can deliver outstanding end user experience to the workforce and the passengers. So middle mile and last mile are very important. Obviously, we've got this target of all the right credentials and all the certifications. We discussed ISO 27000. We are actually leveraging the CSA framework and the ENISA framework, which is the equivalent in Europe, to build our security framework for the cloud. So we like the idea of going for best practice. And again, most important, pre-connected, pre-integrated with the airport environment. 350 airports in the world and 17,000 sites used by the air transport. So beyond infrastructure, beyond virtual machines, virtual data centers, managed desktop, what we believe the key gain is software. Business owners, as we saw, are looking for innovative and best-of-breed applications. There is a lot of apps written in COBOL. So this morning I was hearing about spinning off web servers dynamically through APIs. Well, there is still Fortran and COBOL there in this world, right? So I think we have to recognize that the world is not moving at the same speed everywhere. And a lot of our customers are looking for new best-of-breed apps. And the software vendors want to leverage that trend to move to SaaS. Why is that? You see the Forrester projection for SaaS application is going to be everything. Why? Because it will provide a lower cost of entry to customers. The software vendor will be able to avoid the big license sale initially. So it will make also his cash flow smoother, rather than a big license sale in March and then 3 months of nothing. We are better at having predictable, smooth cash flows. And also, software vendors will be able to bypass the IT department, because they will provide discovery, test, evaluation to the business owners without having to depend on the IT. And this is happening right now. In the air transport industry alone, we estimate that there's about 600 large independent software vendors who specialize in selling apps just for this industry. And then there's about 1,000 who sell productivity, CRM, ERP, HR, email collaborations. So what we are looking at is, on top of the cloud, to build what we call a marketplace or an aggregation place, where our customers will be able to find and discover a whole suite of applications delivered in a SaaS model, which will be relevant for them, and where independent software vendors will be able to position their application and get immediately access to all the stakeholders of the industry. So increase their span and their reach into the customer base. To be able to do that requires a lot of small stuff, from showplace and marketplace, identity federation, which will be a key raising concern pretty soon. As soon as each enterprise will have not one SaaS provider, but 5 and 10 and 20, how will they manage the credentials of their end users across all of these? And obviously the whole fulfillment and entitlement of subscription, because you will move from license to subscription, and also all the APIs and the data connectors to make sure that you can seamlessly integrate these SaaS providers into your environment. So there will be many such marketplaces. It will be the new e-commerce aggregation, right? But what we believe is important is some of these marketplaces will fail and some will be successful. And the ones that will be successful will exactly understand what their marketplace and requirements are. So we believe that by staying focused on a vertical industry is a way of being relevant. So how does it all look like when you take everything together? We think that cloud adoption in air transport is reasonably fast and slow. A lot of interest, a lot of questions. Because it's not so much about whether you use a virtual machine in the cloud, it's how am I going to distribute my apps in the future? A few years ago, a CIO was running all his applications from his data center. So you would have a DC provider. Then you would have a network provider, and you would push his application down to PCs, or even dumb terminals earlier on. Now, more and more, the customer is partnering for software. We talk about Amadeus or seat inventory in the industry, or SITA, or Sabre. And more is going to consume SaaS applications. So all of a sudden, he lost control about how to distribute apps to his end users because they don't run from the PC anymore. So we believe that by being able to put these applications close to the edge of the network, close to end users, will be a great way first to reintroduce quality of service, because sometimes there's a big issue. Virtualizing the desktop will allow the distribution of applications to all these new devices, and the tablet, and the kiosk, and the thin client, and the ultrabook, and the old legacy PC, the rugged device. I'm not showing aircraft, although aircraft for us is just a big device. And then the new way of controlling how you distribute apps to your end users will be through a portal where you manage subscriptions to applications, and where you manage how these tables are distributed in your own data center, the cloud, and some of your service software providers. So we are helping the industry get prepared for that. But beyond that, we believe that the discussions around cloud are a bit too IT-centric right now. And there is much further potential for this industry, like any industry, which is business process optimization. There are a huge amount of processes in the industry which are completely fragmented, essentially relying on supplier-customer relationships. So these processes are extremely costly. Most of them are manual. If you are a fueler today and you fuel an aircraft, you will have somebody printing a paper, then going to the pilot who accepts that he's taking so much fuel in his aircraft. This is all manual processes, totally fragmented. If you think of the example of spare parts, each airline, each stocklist, each maintenance company keeps its own records of the life of a spare part. There is no way in this industry to know the life cycle of incidents of a landing gear or an engine, for instance. So we believe also that in collaborative decision making, Steve was mentioning earlier on that to improve the throughput of a system like an airport, you need to have advanced information. If Steve could know that the Singapore Airlines flight got disrupted in Schiphol, he would know that this aircraft will not arrive on time, so he would be able to reshuffle all his crew, reassign gates, etc. So collaborative decision making is also a huge opportunity in that area. So the cloud will enable best practice software to create community level processes which will be less fragmented, bring economies of scale, because obviously larger volumes, and we also provide the global intelligence around these processes that today we are missing. So as a summary, as a community cloud, we focus on the end-to-end issues of our customers. Not just cheaper IT, not just network, not just PC, but what does it take to deliver a new app from where it sits to actually your end users, and in the real environment. We still think that it's a significant opportunity to optimize IT. There are thousands of servers, gray matter that sit at airports, under seats, under desks, which are completely underutilized. Massive opportunity to reduce the footprint for that industry. Preparing the world for the next post-PCT era, Steve mentioned Ash Cloud. How do you manage in a matter of minutes to create 500 desktops in the cloud, and all your retired agents can be called from home and start to operate and support customers? That is the agility that the cloud provides. Innovation with best-of-breed apps, smooth transition. Each of our customers will go into the cloud in a different way, either from infrastructure, from desktop, from apps, and there's no wrong way. And then the ultimate goal there is really to lower the cost of some of those core business processes for the system. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks very much.